Alright, so McEpic wanted me to do a game to put up on his boy Cyber Gym Leader here, RS Pro is his Twitch name. And so I'm going to play this, and I'm going to talk a little bit about like comps and what each team's going to be looking for like as the game starts. So, red team, Cyber's team, has good gank threat on bottom side because Lucian's relatively aggressive. He can follow up easily. Blitzcrank can look forward, and they have an immobile AD carry and support. And then Xin Zhao has really good ganks at all stages, even like potentially early, like level 2, level 3. So that's where he's gonna look to play around. Both junglers in this game would want to play around mid lane, because Talia with priority can move around the map really freely, and Talia wants to be, you want to enable the Akali to be strong enough to threaten the Talia so that Talia can't move safely. And if Akali gets to start moving into like the side and whatnot, then it makes it really dangerous for Talia to ever follow, so Talia loses her ability to follow. Talia loses her ability to get priority and move if her lane opponent is stronger than she is and can close the gap reliably. What is Talia doing? She warded. So Warwick should be looking to play off mid early and probably top. He wants to enable this Renekton to bully the Tryndamere for a little while, because eventually this Tryndamere will be impossible to deal with. But you want to be able to bully the Tryndamere early before he becomes impossible to deal with, so that Renekton can hold that advantage for as long as possible, and you guys can close out the game before he could ever become that uncontestable like kind of a thing that he could be. So Warwick should play top side. Xin Zhao should play bot side. If Xin Zhao wanted to do that, he could start on top side and path down. Another option is he can get this buff off the map, and then path back down sort of naturally for like a later timing if he wants to like focus more on like farming in the process. I respect Talia's attempt. She's giving up lane priority though. She lost 1 creep for that. She might lose 2. Does she have to go all the way around? She losing 2 creeps? She get the XP with that? I should have lost 1 creep. Could be worse. So in bot lane here, Blitzcrank can easily try to fish in lane with where Draven wants to go for an axe, which is a major key. And in the past, Blitzcrank has been considered like at least like a soft counter, because between his knockup and his pull, it's relatively easy for Blitzcrank to disrupt Draven from getting his axes, even if he doesn't necessarily get to like kill him outright. So you can always look to like predict when he goes for like to pick up the axe with your hook. And then even if you miss the hook in that scenario, he drops an axe, and that makes his immediate trading potential less threatening. So like let's say in this scenario that like you land the you miss the hook, but he gives up the axe for it, and then Lucian can still trade aggressively because Draven without his axes up is actually just like a really bad AD carry. He doesn't really have anything special in his kit. So after if he's forced out of his axes, then that's great. And if you land the hook and you get to CC him in your creep wave and he has to move backwards while he's fighting, then that's great too. So both scenarios are perfectly fine as long as you play around them. You should be fishing occasionally just to like pose that threat. Nami is also super free if you do land something on her to be able to look for. So this was good. He moves forward to try to trade. You land a hook. You get free damage. Ignite for double heal is perfectly fine. We would take that any day. And then getting them low from 1 hook is really important, because that opens them up to kill threat from follow-up hooks. And to make it so that if they're low enough, then they have to leave because the threat of like a hook is too high. Or if they're low enough, then you can potentially just flash past. You can knock him up, remove the counterplay altogether, not even have to land your hook. Flash past, knock up, pull him toward you. That's like 2 seconds of CC, and then in that time you guys might be able to kill him before he can even like react to the flash. So that's also an option. I wanted to note that like Xin Zhao went topside and they were barely able to get a kill on this Renekton, even though they 2v1 and they were like toward like their own turret, because Renekton is so much more powerful here. This is Warwick's like point that he should be playing off of, because you want to play off your strong lanes, and Renekton is going to be a lot stronger than the Tryndamere early. So Xin Zhao tried to play off like a losing lane early, and that means that he only got like a 1-for-1, when maybe if he puts pressure elsewhere, like he can get more out of it. This is super stupid. It's a waste of time. Did we get a hook here again? Let's check real quick. Oh, I don't have to go that far about. This is a good collapse, ultimately. As soon as this is happening, yeah, you should both be running. Just spam ping it. Make sure your Lucian comes too. Run all the way up. Run all the way up. So you could be here a little earlier. You guys actually probably don't even have to lose the Scuttle Crab if you react fast enough, but this Warwick's just in a really stupid place. Like, his bot lane can't come, his mid laner wasn't there anymore, like, he just can't be in that place anymore. So this is a good response. Good job. You can be there a little sooner, maybe not even give up the Scuttle Crab, but it's still a good response. You should always look for that. See, this is the kind of thing too. I don't know if he was like baiting there, but he goes toward the axe and then he goes away. So if you shot where the hook, where the axe was going to land initially, you might have hit him because he walked like toward it and then he moved away early. So it might have hit, and you could have like denied him like the axe. Instead, he misses the axe and you get him on the back end either. But you want to really abuse the fact that he's going to be in a telegraph spot for his axes to enable yourself to get hooks. So that's something that you should be constantly looking for. Especially now that he doesn't have flash or heal. So like that one, you're just fishing like toward max range. And all right, here's another concept. You should almost never be fishing at like max range unless it's like late in the game and like any kind of pick like that would like be monumentally valuable, because it's so much easier for them to dodge it, because if they go anywhere backwards, they dodge it, and if they go to the sides, they dodge it. So basically anywhere they go except for walking into you, they dodge it. So you can take away more of their options for dodging if you are close enough that the hook would grab them even if they went backwards. So you want to make sure you overcompensate just a little bit. How's farm look? Ooh, the 15 CS advantage. So when you guys go back, there'll probably be like an item discrepancy that you're going to want to take advantage of. Generally speaking, in lane, Targon's is always going to be more valuable than like Coin 2. If she had Spell Thieves, then I could see her being a lot more aggressive, trying to poke you down. Because in theory, Nami should be poking at the Blitzcrank, and as long as Blitzcrank doesn't land a hook on her, then they should have really high kill threat potential. Still a good look, even if you don't get the kill off of it. But most of these hooks feel like gambles rather than like you can make it relatively guaranteed by looking for his axe grabs. In theory, Nami should be able to win this lane basically alone, because Lucian's relatively short range, and because Blitzcrank, if he ever misses a hook, then Nami has a big window to punish, and they could both move forward aggressively like that. And Nami's also just one of the strongest laning supports in the game, so that's something that she could be looking for. If this Nami played more aggressively, I think like their lane in theory can win, but you guys have kill threat, so that would be the difference, right? Their lane should win neutral, but you should win like punish, right? We'll use fighting game terms. They should win neutral because they have double range, and Blitzcrank's potential to start something is completely behind grab. And you guys should win punish, where if you get one opening, then you should be able to punish them a lot harder off of it than they can you. So they're back. He has a BF sword. I'm sure Lucian can also buy a BF sword, plus probably a little bit past it, assuming he's going like Essence Reaver or something. Why would he get this? Okay. Okay, that's fine. That's still 5 more AD and movement speed. So the movement speed will be good if you want to like chase somebody down, so you can look for like an extended fight that way. Wait, did they both die to Crocodile? Alright, so this is what I was saying. Alright, quick note, while you guys are walking back to bot lane. This is Renekton's strong side. Renekton early is going to be really hard to contest. He shouldn't be double kill at like fucking level 6. Like, he shouldn't be like that much of a discrepancy, but he should be stronger early. And you don't want to play off like a losing side of the map. So like, Xin Zhao has no business going topside. Like, if this guy's getting fucked, you have to let him get fucked. Like, it's over. Like, Godspeed Tryndamere, try not to die too many times. And then you just play hard off the opposite side of the map and take like as much as you can on the opposite side to try to compensate. And like, for him going up there, he lost his blue buff too. So, not ideal. They had just warded, they play super safe. He needs to farm. He should be farming these camps. Honestly, if you want to do like if you wanted to path toward bot side, he should have went back toward top side, cleared these camps, and naturally pathed back down. So he'd be here a little bit later. And so that he could make sure he was catching up and keeping up in EXP. Because level 5 at 8 minutes is pretty low. Is on like you should be like 6 minutes around this time. But level 4 is like definitely low, right? So he should also be looking to like plays around like mid lane now that him and Kali should have like easy kill threat. So this is a scenario too. As long as Talia is gone, like playing back like this is perfectly fine. Now you guys know where Talia is. Now you guys can move back up immediately. And you want to be able to lifesteal off the wave here. So he should be like autoing like creeps like every time that he can. And in this scenario where they have like their heals up, like it can actually be a little bit scary if you can't 100-0 somebody, because Nami can disrupt you with wave and ult. So if you were to pull and he was at like 60%, it's possible that like Draven can like auto him twice, ult, and like he could outright die, which is kind of intimidating. So like now that he's getting a little bit healthier again, you can look for like a trade. It'll probably take 2 trades to do it. You'll have to look for one, and then you'll have to do another one on the back end. So when like he throws like a auto like this, you stand over to this side, and then when he goes to get the axe, that's when like you get like a free angle for a hook. Also, hooking around like this bend is really valuable, because if you hook here, let's say he has a straight path, right? If you hook here, he has to walk down and then around, just because there's something in the way. So he'd want to walk straight this way, ideally, because it's like the fastest path. But this would force him, because of terrain, to like go down. God damn it, camera keeps panning up there. Talia's just AFKing down here. She's not even pushing out the wave before she leaves. That's interesting. She should always push out a wave before she leaves, because she has the wave clear to get it for kind of free. Why did she just E? If you guys turn here and just immediately put your damage into Talia, you guys probably actually just can win this. Because Talia has really low damage for a mid laner. Alright, let's go back a tiny bit. Let's see how this starts too, because you pull the Draven at the start, I assume. You can look for pulls on like Nami here too. So like real quick, like when Nami was here and like you're waiting, like you can pull the Nami when she's walking back and forth. That's pretty free. And then you guys have better kill threat on the Nami than the Draven. Ultimately, Nami has 200 less health, and she even has like a little bit less armor. So like Nami, and if Nami's in CC, that means she can't heal for him. That means she can't be trying to CC you as easily, things like that. So in these scenarios, like Nami would be like an easier target. He gets away with really low health, so in that scenario, like Nami would have actually died. So let's see the hook. Free. You get a lot of damage off of it. Talia's here. So in this scenario right here, Draven can't come back in, because if Draven comes back in, he'll actually die for free. So Nami already used basically everything that she has too. These are counting down, but like none of these are up. So like the only thing that like that can happen here is like Talia has like relatively long cooldown. She has to just sit there with Q. So if Lucian moves up, then it's hard for her to hit him with his Q. And then you guys can actually kill her probably, or at least force like something out of her, because she used her flash there like aggressively to like chase after. But if she was trying to be that aggressive with it, like you guys can potentially turn that into a kill for yourselves, because Draven won't be able to support, and Talia is relatively low damage. I'm gonna go back and talk about that hook. This one down here. Speed it up for a second. All right, so Talia goes down to the wall here. So Talia wants to move along the wall here because she gets movement speed for it. So this prediction, I'm gonna go back and freeze it on that hook too. So no. Okay. This is what I want. Okay. So let's see the hook go. So this hook is almost silly, because you have to think about it this way. If Talia goes up, she doesn't have time to get out of it in time, because she was already leaning toward the bottom side a little bit. Let's say she's on like the bottom like 20% of this, right? So this hook predicts that she will move up, right? Instead, what you can do is, since there's a wall on one side, you can throw this straight down here. And then if she goes down for the wall, she can't go anywhere else, right? So this literally covers like 70% of the options. When somebody's along a wall, you can throw a hook like as wide as the hook is. Let's say the hook is like this wide, or something like let's say it's this wide. I'll use the cursor. Let's say that your hook is this wide, then you throw the hook like on the edge of that, so that no matter what, like her model would get tagged by it. And then if she jukes, and then if she doesn't juke, then she also gets hit by it. So then she has to go purely up, and it covers everything else. So shooting up here when they're along a wall is almost like silly, in the case that like you can cover like 75% of their options, like going forward, going back, going down, just going forward, down, going back down, all by throwing the hook a little bit lower there, along like covering like if she went down along the wall. If she went up, then of course you can predict like this, but ultimately like it's a much safer bet, especially in lower elo, when they're not going to be thinking of like not putting themselves along a wall as much, to just go for like the higher percentage play, and like the 70% there would be like a higher percentage play. Speed this up a little bit, get back to like where we were. This is the time where like you guys could have just recalled too. She was having a really hard time pushing. You guys actually probably would have had time right after you backed up there to recall, and then make it back with like a clean recall. Strong crocodile. I need the camera to stay down here. Ooh, ooh. Was this just a raw prediction? I didn't see it for a second. Yeah, so he's not looking for like an axe or something like that. This is still good. I mean, I was gonna say, yeah, that's like a free kill. There's no way he gets away after that, because he doesn't have either summoners up. How long in his flash? I can't even click on him, he's dead. But in the same vein, you can look for the same thing, because he moved toward his axe on the throw before, and you could be punishing him for his axes, or putting him in situations where he doesn't have his axes. It is good, it accomplishes the same thing, but you can make it more reliable. That's the goal. You want like the things you're looking for to be as reliable as possible, especially with Blitzcrank, who has kind of like a limited mana pool, so like everyone you miss, you can actually kind of feel. And then when you have like an opportunity like this, you guys can kill him, and then ping for like Akali. Ping for Akali, and beat up the Warwick. Akali killed Talia, can she come down? You should ping for Lucian and ping for Talia. This Warwick didn't even press his ultimate. He just sat there. What a lunatic. Alright, so let's go back a little bit. This, normally, if you ping enough, like, your team will respond. I mean, ultimately, you can't make them move, but they will respond a lot of the time. You should be spam pinging so that Lucian can come a little bit quicker, so that Akali comes right after she gets that kill, then she'd be the only one that can come from that way. And then you guys might know that Renekton's coming, so you can be cutting back that way. I was going to say you should stand in front of the Xin Zhao, too, to make sure you can block an ultimate, but he ends up dying to just auto attacks, because you guys kind of just chill there. But... and you lose the dragon, which is unfortunate. So I think like a lot of times you can honestly kind of micro your team just by pinging it enough times. Just by taking, you can take that onus under yourself a little bit. And people normally will respond as long as the play makes sense, right? As long as it's not like a stupid play, people will respond like 9 times out of 10. Ultimately, you can't make them, but... so you guys got bot super pushed in, and you recalled before they got to it. So this would be a time where you guys don't go back to bot lane. You can go to mid, or you can go to top. While you're on this side, you could potentially get Rift Herald. Mid would be hard, because Talia has good wave clear, unless you can outright dive her. So unless you are here to dive Talia, then she's going to be able to clear the wave really easily. She just missed that Q, otherwise the wave would have already been dead. But you guys are going to have to go back to bot now to catch this wave. Before that, I would have recommended going top here, because Renekton will actually have like a relatively hard time like all-inning Lucian through like a Blitzcrank CC. And then you guys can threaten another turret. And then Tryndamere can move down in the meantime, and their bot lane doesn't have very good like dive through on Tryndamere, because they have like very sustained damage, so like it would be hard for them to kill him after his ultimate. Oh, he went Yumus, that's interesting. I don't know if I agree with that. Especially when they have 2 champions that could build relatively tanky. So what you want to do here is push this in and leave again. And then you're going to go to mid if you can look for a dive on Talia, or to push in the wave if you need to. And then after that, you would go toward a top. You go up. Should have immediately hooked here. Just immediately hook out of the knock-up to deny the Renekton as much as possible to like getting toward the Lucian. Because there's no way that he should even be able to like flash to threaten this Lucian there, because of the... oh, he messed up his thing there too. That was good. How long is dash? Oh, you guys aren't getting him. Unless you do some sick flash shit. Alright, so let's go back a tiny bit. I wanted to. Alright, it's right here. Right here. I go back a tiny bit more. Alright, so we see Renekton coming down too. When the Renekton is this far, when you see the Renekton here, and they are back this far, you two should actually just run toward this Renekton and look to 2v1 him way before they could ever respond. So it should actually be the goal that you two both go here, and you just fight this Crocodile. And this Crocodile actually wouldn't be able to like necessarily do anything about it, and if Draven tries to move up early, then like he loses for it. And then when you knock up there, you immediately pull, so that this guy can't threaten your Lucian. And then it spends like, he spends so much time in CC that there's like no way that you guys could be threatened by it. Let's speed this back up. We know he gets bopped, he gets hooked, sick, punish him for overextending. Can't overextend like that in the Blitzcrank. Where do we end up going? Anytime that you have like the wave pushed in, or like your AD carry is on like a desync recall from you, and anytime that you back, you can look for like an opportunity to roam. And in these scenarios, like you're pretty useless alone, so like hitting this turret is low value. Like you don't get anything from hitting this turret. Do you just die for hitting this turret? That'd be even sillier. You do end up just dying for hitting the turret. I mean, granted, they're going to end up getting the Warwick anyway, but like this is completely avoidable, right? So like when you're playing as like support and you're not like a high damage support, there's no real value. You got like 2 autos on this turret. You probably did like 80 damage to it. Instead, you can be controlling vision toward top side because you have 2 people already on top side, or you can be prepping vision for something on bot side. So you can be prepping vision so you guys can always be pushed in and bot, so you have like a safer way to rotate faster. Or you can be topside where you already have your 2 threats, which you had Tryndamere and Zen up there, and then you're near people that can do something, and then you can fish for like a hook, or you can maybe just run up and E somebody if they like face check or something like that. That was a bold E. Nami could have believed in herself and bubbled. So Nami wastes bubble. Wasting bubble like long range like that is bad. This is a scenario where you guys should have been bot lane. You guys wasted I think like 6-7 creeps here, and then you also be able to push out this wave. Whenever the wave is coming toward your turret, you want to catch the wave here, and you want to push it in as deep as possible so that it takes them as long as possible to respond, and so they have to be as far back as possible, and that gives you the most possible time to move around the map elsewhere. So you catch the wave here, you push it ideally into here, you kill every wave that's coming, and then you move to another lane, and then it takes them like 45 seconds to like do something. So you get up here, and then you've got like 30 seconds, you've got like a full wave and a half to like fucking beat on this turret or whatever you want to do. So instead, if you don't fix it, this is building up as like a slow push, which you can use for pressure too, but a lot of the times like slow push just ends up giving them more farm and denying you farm, because like the farm that you could have got, these creeps, is going to die for free now. So you could have, if you ping this wave, if you come down here with your 80 carry, or anybody comes down here and gets this wave, then you can set up the wave so it never ends up in like a slow push for them, because you're denying yourself creeps right now and setting up so that they're not going to lose very many. So this, not ideal. You could have a much bigger advantage this way. And you have to think of it in the sense that every wave you deny yourselves, so like you lose 2 of the creeps off this wave, but it killed 3 of their creeps, and then you lost the entire 7 creeps, right? So you lost those 7 creeps. It's not just that you're losing 7 creeps, it's that they're going to get all these creeps eventually, unless they just literally don't respond. So every wave you get is basically like like the same kind of like discrepancy. When they start moving back here to respond to Tryndamere, I think you guys can be aggressive here, right? You guys know this can only be a 4v4. Actually, it's a 3v4 because Zin is up there. Okay, that makes sense. But all right, so when's the moment that we can tell? This is the moment we can tell. Right here, you run. You just run at them. Run at them. Run at them. Run. You can even run this way right now because they are trying to respond to Tryndamere. You want to chase them to make it harder for them to respond to Tryndamere. If you come this way, you cut off Nami, so Nami actually just dies guaranteed, or even potentially that you could kill Talia. This guy just like inted. They could have. Nami could have actually just eaten autoed him. He would have taken an extra turret shot. Draven can't. Oh, I was gonna say he can't do anything alone, but Warwick did end up there too. Okay, I just couldn't see him on the minimap. So here, you take this pathing. You take the aggressive pathing, because they're on their way out, and Zin was on his way down. So in that scenario, like you guys can collapse really easily. I'll let directed camera take it. Starting this early as like support is kind of silly, because you're not really doing any meaningful damage to it. You're just kind of getting chunked. Like, you can communicate to your team that you want to do it without taking like half of your health, like waiting for them to come. I know you want to do it and all, but this is actually a scenario where if you started it this early and they responded faster, you could actually give them the opportunity to like take this dragon, because you started it, because you're kind of chunking yourself for free, and because that's actually a timing where they could have got there if they ran straight there. So that was actually pretty risky, all things considered. Instead, you can just wait for like at least 3 people to be out on the map, and then you come down here, and if they want to contest it, like, you guys are relatively strong, your Akali's pretty strong, your Lucian's hella strong, like even your Tryndamere's catching up, like that should be like a free fight for you guys. Ugh. Since Dragon's off the map and this outer is off the map, you guys are going to want to play toward topside. It should be relatively easy for you to get topside vision because both these turrets are down, so it's relatively safe for you to get this topside vision. So you want wards like here, 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 maybe here. The wards like here will take care of that, so you wouldn't even need to see up here. And you want to push those waves in, threaten this every time you have a wave that you can do something to it with, and then when you don't have a wave, then you guys look around toward Baron. You guys don't want to do Baron. You guys have a pretty quick kill for Baron with Zin, Tryndamere, Akali. Like those are pretty quick Baron killers, but you're not trying to do it. You're trying to bait them to come toward it, and then you get like a pick with a Blitzcrank to just kill somebody for free. Can he get a kill? No. He's dead. Sick. So Lucian should not be down here, still pushing at all. Lucian should be up here. You guys should be getting vision in this area, here and here. And then you take this vision and you get Baron. This should also be pushed in because this is the side of the map that you guys want to be playing on. When you don't have bot turret up, when you don't have dragon up, you play on the top side of the map. Communicate to your team that you want to play on the top half of the map and set up vision on the top half of the map to enable that. Did she get away with this? That's super silly. Right there, you could look for like a hook too. With like Nami on the exit there, you could potentially look for like Nami in the turret range there. So this is still pushing toward them. Talia's gonna go deal with it. This is still you guys' timing window to set up vision control on this side. You have plenty of wards for it, and you guys are gonna want to play around here. You want to be playing for this turret and to get picks for Baron to enable yourselves to do Baron. If you guys get a couple of picks, you can do Baron. Your team is not very tanky for it, but you can do Baron, and you have plenty of damage for it. So your team can't just like start it raw all the time because of how squishy you are, but you can look, right? You can look for picks, you can look for opportunities to like have like an odd number thing for it, and you don't need to flash here actually. Let's go back. So this is again like you're predicting like a dodge, right? Let's wait for it. So you're predicting a dodge here, right? You're actually in range to just grab this Nami who doesn't have flash at all. So you can grab this Nami relatively free. Or if you wanted to, with where you were, you could flash here. Let's go back a tiny bit. Can I go? Is there does left work? No. Is there a button I can press to go back like 5 seconds? Let's see if you would have been in range. It's like here. So you could have flashed to here, and you'd be so close to Nami that you could throw the Q like right here, and there's actually no way that she can really dodge it because of how close range you'd be. So in that scenario, that's free. You don't need to kill Draven in these scenarios. Like, and later in the game, a lot of the times like a support can be just as valuable as an AD carry because like the utility they bring. So like when Nami's dead, like they lose out on like a ton of CC, a ton of safety, and like supports normally get into their items like Redemption, Locket, Sensor, and those are super valuable items. Some of the best items in the game. So that makes you don't have to be fishing for like a crazy hook here. Honestly, you don't even have to flash. You could just fish for Nami because you already like extend out a little bit past like her range. So you can just look for Nami with like a free thing and save your flash. Speed it up a little bit. What are we looking at? Lucian's always in a side lane for some reason farming. He actually needs to be with you guys so you can get waves. So when Talia is their only ranged wave clear basically. So on this wave that comes in here, this is when she was pushing in bot lane. When she pushes in bot lane like that, that's actually you guys should get this turret for free as long as Lucian's here. Also, she didn't push this in all the way, so somebody on your team can actually come catch this and get all the money. If she pushed in it all the way, you guys lose all this. Instead, she's like giving you guys like 800 gold back, which is crazy. And then this gives Xin the opportunity to fix the wave because he can fix it so it's going to push toward them. And then if he kills this, and then if he honestly walked with it, take this too, and they didn't collapse because you guys have vision control to show when they would collapse, and then he could set it up so that they would have to respawn, and then you guys would have a really big window on the top side again. So he's coming mid. That's good. We're finally there. Bloodthirster sucks. This build blows. Never build like this. I don't know why you'd ever build Bloodthirster on Draven over like Death Stance, honestly, either. Was that one on an axe? Was that one on an axe? Let me check this out. No, he just walks up. Damn it, I just want to see one time where we're like prepping like the axe to like make sure he either misses the axe or he gets hooked for free for like going to get the axe. Oh well. Still a good hook. We'll take those. In those scenarios, like your team is a lot stronger and can convert on things like that a lot, so you can actually fish really freely. Even like it doesn't seem like it'd be good to pull Renekton, but pulling Renekton into your team is actually perfectly fine. He is not that tanky. And if you have like 4 damage dealers here, if you have like your full team or even like 4 players, there's no way this Renekton is not going to take 80% of his health in your CC and then be worthless. Like even here, you guys hit the guy for like 3 seconds, he's like not even 3. You guys hit the guy for like a second and a half and he's basically dead. Like you can look for hooks on Renekton, you can look for hooks on Warwick, you can look for hooks on literally anybody. You don't have to be picky. It can be Nami. It doesn't have to always be Draven. And then Draven has a really obvious tell. So this is good, right? You guys will just kill him. Akali, use your spells. Yeah, sick. He slows him, you get the hook for free. Solid. Solid. We're gonna recall. Wait till we get back out on the map. So Dragon's coming up. You guys have the advantage. Dragon's a free objective for you guys to take, and then you'd want to play topside again. So you'd want to get this Dragon off the map because it should be really easy for you guys to take once you regroup. And then once that's off the map, there's nothing for you guys to play for that's not on the top side of the map. Because there's this turret. This turret's already super low. We're not worried about it. The only major objective that matters is Baron. So we would play here. We control this side for vision, wards here, maybe wards here, and then you play for Baron. You look for picks down here, and then if they don't respond or they overcommit people to bot side to catch a wave, or they all go to do Dragon or whatever it might be, then you do the Baron. If you get 2 kills, then you go do Baron, that kind of thing. A lot of opportunities. This is also a scenario, if you keep chasing this Renekton, he's going to have to come out past the creep wave eventually, and when he's out past the creep wave, he'll still be slowed briefly. You can hook him and then force either his ultimate, or if Akali keeps following, then he'll actually just die for free too. So you can feel safe to actually hook anything. It doesn't have to be Draven. You can hook this Crocodile. He's not that tanky. You can hook the Warwick. He's not that tanky. You can hook the Nami. Even though she's just a support, she's still very high impact in fights, and it's very meaningful to be able to kill her. Lucian should not be like split pushing in side lanes like this. Can he dodge the ult? He didn't even try to dodge the ult. Scratch him. Hell yeah. And in these scenarios, honestly, you tell your teammate that like they need to like be with you guys. If somebody's gonna split push, it should be Tryndamere, because Tryndamere is uncontestable 1v1 right now. Akali also can probably beat this Renekton in her current state, and definitely can beat anybody else in their team. So Akali or Tryndamere can be in side lanes. They can honestly both be in side lanes, and the other 3 of you run in the middle here. But there's no reason that Lucian should be, and you should communicate to him that he needs to like group. You don't have to be like toxic about it. You don't have to tell him like, what the fuck are you doing? Like you need to get your ass with us or whatnot. But like that, you can just tell him that. And these words, these would be a lot better. You take a couple more steps here and here. That gives you a lot better vision control. Ultimately, this is what we were playing for eventually. You guys got 2 kills, then you guys just take the Baron. This is what we wanted to be playing around in the first place. But as it turns out, it was just a little bit of it was messy to get to it. Also, redemption super early. If you're gonna redemption super early. Did she kill everybody? No. She can't kill him. Do we have 6 CC actually? You're sick. God, she kills so much with those autos. And ultimately, I want to talk about something. We'll go back a little bit, talk about it. I'll speed it up while I talk about it. So you guys don't need to have been fighting here, right? All you guys need to be doing is flirting with the idea of fighting, or the idea of hitting this turret, because Tryndamere is getting uncontested pressure here, right? He's getting stuff for free. All you guys have to do is not be dying, and he just keeps getting things for free. Eventually, he can go to bot side and do the same damn thing. Or you guys can be bot, and he can keep threatening, and then threaten to end the game outright. That can vary depending on like whether it's easier for him to like get like a neutral objective, or if you want him to collapse afterward. If you're pushing for like this turret, then he should be like here, so he can collapse behind them and threaten them on their way out. That kind of thing. Whereas if you put him down bot, then he's going to get this neutral objective, but it's going to take longer for him to get into the base, so it's harder for him to get like as good of like a flank opportunity or something like that. Slow this down. She just did. Oh, I got her. Is he alright? Yo. You guys can kill him free. Yeah. Yeah. Just stand there. Just beat his ass. Yeah. You can actually just stand there and like contribute your damage earlier. Are you gonna die to the turret now? You're dead to this turret. That's so sad. So you can contribute your damage earlier, or and then like look to reset after the fact. And then since you know that like their entire team is on here or dead because Nami was dead, you can reset out the bottom instead of running back up this way toward the Warwick. You can just reset out the bottom. Reset your terror aggro on the bottom, because you already know where everybody is. She can all in. After bubble misses, she can all in for free. She can all in him too. He should just die. Yeah. So that's game. That's game. So, general notes. Wave control, be more cognizant. I know it's not necessarily always in your control as like the support player, but like ping the waves that like people should be taking, and if it's building up toward you, then make sure you're dealing with it because it's a lot of wasted gold otherwise. It's not just wasted gold that you're not getting, it's wasted gold because it's killing, because it'll end up pushing back and then you won't get like creeps from it. So it'll set up as like a slow push basically every time that like a big wave crashes, a slow push back toward them if they don't deal with it. So you can also do that for yourself when you guys push in. Make sure you push in all the way, or as hard as you can. And if it bounces off a turret, it'll always come back as a slow push, and that'll slowly get you an advantage unless they can meet the wave the same way every time. So there's that. With something like Draven, you can predict the way he's going to move really easily by forcing him to either give up an axe or get hooked. So that's something that you can always look for. When somebody's standing along a wall, it's a safe bet to throw your hook like not literally along the wall, because I mean you don't have to. So like let's say they're here. There's a champion here. Like, you don't have to hit them down here to like hit the champion. You can hit them up here and you'll still hit the champion. So you can throw your hook like it's slightly above that, and you can still hit like all this area, and then you can also hit along like the wall. So you can even angle your hook. If you come up, then like where can she go realistically, right? If she goes up, then she goes like into your hook because it's at an angle. If she goes down, she still gets hit by it. She'd have to go forward this way or back and up. So she would have to specifically go this way or this way to avoid it, because that's the opposite of like the hook, right? So if the hook's going this way, you would dodge it ideally by going this way. If you're dodging it at another angle, then like this hook might be fat enough to catch them when they go up or when they go down or when they go left or right a little bit. So throwing things at an angle, really valuable. Throwing things along a wall, if you can force somebody to walk along a wall, it's really valuable. A very common case of that is somebody's walking here, and if you can force them into a situation where they want the fastest path out and they walk through here, then you can hook this for free. There's nowhere they can dodge. They're along 2 fucking walls. They're dead. So that's something you can look for. And then later in the game, people say like, oh, well, like you don't want to engage in like tanks or whatnot, but if you can hook like somebody that's not that tanky, like realistically like Renekton or fucking Warwick or something, like there's not that many champions that aren't safe to hook. So you can hook this Renekton and you guys will probably outright kill him, if not do so much of his health that he can't contest afterward anyway. So it's not a bad thing to like look for him and him. It looked like a lot of times you were looking for specifically hooks on Draven, which you did land like a good number of them, but you can like prep the hooks a little better so like they're a little bit more reliable, and you don't have to look necessarily at Draven. Early game, Nami's even easier to kill, and then later in the game it can be literally anybody. You don't have to be picky with it. Anything will start a fight. So I hope this is a little bit helpful. It has like a good amount of talk about like macro in it and whatnot. And then yeah, I hope you have this, your Blitzcrank continues to be the sickest thing. And Godspeed.